you hit a milestone. Microsoft awarded Stratum. You were up on stage. Besides the Microsoft award, were there any other big events that like really stood out to you over the past 5 years now, where it's gotta feel good to have some of that recognition at this point?
I think we've been involved in a couple of bigger milestone on the partner side that I will always remember. One of them was we at the time had helped Microsoft close, at the time it was the largest cloud deal, and it was $6 million a year. And that was, at the time, I mean, everyone was, wow, that's so insane. Because I can remember a time when you couldn't get a customer to commit to spend 50 grand in a year. And then we fast forward, more recently, we had a customer that they signed a $60 million Azure deal. So to me, it's not so much about the recognition from the partners, the awards. It's more about the customers, the things that we're trying to do with them. To me, that's what keeps me going. The ones that I without mentioning names, talk to my wife about, things that we're proud to be a part of, things like moving someone away from traditional infrastructure into the cloud, because it's going to reduce their hospital costs, so that hospital can apply that same budget back to other things that are going to drive innovation for the patient side. To me, that's the most important ones. Those are the ones that stick out to me, and probably the ones that I'll still talk about in 20 years when we're on to the next wave of technology.
Great. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah. And so my favorite thing to have happen, and it sounds, it actually sounds a bit contradictory, but I love when we come up to a problem that what we call engineer a solution to. It might be, I need to have multiple networks that now need to be able to all connect through Azure, and we're going to use the backbone of Microsoft's Azure to connect to each other. We came up with an awesome solution to that about 8-9 months before Azure WAN came out. So when we find those moments where we engineer a solution and we say, here's the engineered solution, and when the vendor comes back and then builds that, basically what you did, almost exactly what you did, back into their product feature set, it's kind of a vindication thing. So there's customers out there, and for those of you, if you're watching, if you're watching this, the idea that says, hey, we need to connect to all of our sites into Azure, and then we can backhaul our traffic across that because Microsoft's network is really good. Or AWS, we had a very similar solution there. Now it's just a thing, and people can leverage it and they can do it. Implementing understanding what a transit network is and how does that factor into everything. There's now a transit virtual gateway for inside of AWS. Why does that factor in? Well, great. Now you can do this. Coming up with migration tool sets and defining what our migration tool sets are, and now all of the different various providers that are out there. As we look at from the various providers that are out there, they all have now their own migration tool sets, and when you look at them, they're basically doing what we've been doing for 5 years. They're now taking and running it with their vendor set, with their vendor backgrounds. But that to me is the most realistic portion of where I go, oh, this is great. And it sounds like it wouldn't be because it feels like a business way. But what that just means is that we saw that problem and we recognized it as a problem. And again, it's experiential learning for my team. And we look at it and go, our team is incredible. We have the ability to grow from that. And we then leverage that growth to be the thing, and find the next thing and find the next thing, because that's going to be the solution that we can fix.
So I have one more question for you both, because I know we're going to have a hard stop here soon. And I hope we can cover it in the time we have left. So with as many people as we have now on the team, now you even have a CTO. It's obvious that you're moving towards that working on the business versus in the business. How has that transition been for you
Mhm.
both? And how do you
I'll let Ryan
has
go
it been
first.
easy to release the reins on a few things, Aaron? Oh, I didn't mean to point you out.
No,
Oh God, I'm sure. Call me out. Call me out first. Actually, I'll say it. Um, you know, I have to give kudos to our COO, and who I hope at some point you actually have on, because he's got a hell of a story. And I give him kudos because about a year ago he said we need to change some things. And that was, I was not just in the business, I was the business. Everyone came and said, I need Aaron's opinion on this. I need Aaron's opinion on this. And I had become a bottleneck with everything. So pulling myself out of that is the hardest thing. And you have to be willing to watch people fail and learn from it and go on to the next thing. As crazy as the amount of growth that we've had with our company over the last year has been, it's been personal growth too, but it's been personal growth to trust that people are going to do the right thing. And that's really, if you ask me a year ago, am I going to be able to do this? I'd say absolutely. And I would be lying through my teeth. If you ask me that today, yeah, I trust the people. We've found a leadership team that is right. We have technology professionals and project managers and non-tech, support staff and administrative staff that I completely trust. And when that's a big step. It's as much they trust me to make sure that we're making decisions for the right of the business. I trust them to work towards the business as well. So I would say it's a lot easier today than it was a year ago. I still catch myself falling down that hole once in a while, but I can recognize it now, at least. So,
How about you, Ryan?
I've never had any problem with the delegation and giving it up, because in my mindset, if you're disciplined enough to hire the right people for the job, you have to respect them enough to let them fail, to Aaron's point. But also, if you're thinking about growing an organization, if you're the bottleneck, it's only going to go how far you take it. So it's almost, you have to trust and verify to some degree. It's give them freedom to fail and freedom to grow. And at the same time, if you want to build that culture, you can't be the one person that sits on the throne and just points. So for me, it was always about, let's let people put their stamp on it. We keep going back to culture, but giving them an environment and a culture where you can put your own stamp on Stratum. You can come here, you can grow professionally and personally and add to the success for everybody, was always something that I thought of. So for me, I've never had an issue with giving up control. I never had any intentions of running this like a dictatorship and then handing this down to my son. It was always about the team, and the team is going to take us to the next phase of growth. So I never had any challenges there. It's actually something that we've always talked about doing. Now that we've got a good management team in place, that scales even further. There's a layer of management even below our executive team. So we're in a great spot now. And looking back at those little milestones win to get us here, it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. So with that, was there any other topics that you think we should have covered here today that I might have missed?
I don't think so.
I'll say one thing for those of you that are anyone who's, I don't think I'd say one thing, and that is for anyone who is considering this, come back at it and look at it. Make sure you have fun. It's so hard to look at it and go, yeah, this is going to be fun, because it's hard. It is really, really hard work. But if you have fun doing it, it makes that grind that we all talk about a lot easier. So much easier to deal with that 3 a.m. Hotel room in Detroit. and in January, by the way. It was, and, you know, dealing with that kind of stuff. If you're having fun what you're doing, it makes life a lot easier. That's the biggest thing I would say, is find the fun in it. It's hard to keep that in the front of your mind a lot, but if you can find the fun in it, yeah, do it all day long. You're gonna have fun. If you can have fun, do it.
So, well, with that, I think I'll hit the stop button. Unless Ryan, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's a perfect summary. I think this is across everything we've covered here. We've covered a lot of ground, background on some of our challenges and some of the steps along the way. But this has been fun.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you both so much for all of this time. I mean, I know it's hard to carve this amount of time out of both of your schedules at the same time on top of it. So thank you for that.
No, happy to do it.
Thank you for watching Stratum's Cloud Interrupted. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like, and share this video.